Alright, abusia me mamo akwa aba Odi Asampa TV. Eya mosomfo Odi Asampa ni. Twedi ampon wa bie kwan ne mienu ye hwe yan die. Didi se ohun eye. Saa so na me so odomakoma adaroma nti me ho eden. Abusia me no ebedi enkomo tiawa bi. Na enkomo we a ye bedi no. Eye na nakwa me bedi akọ ene Wademaya. Abrebi a omuhia na omunkomo a omudiye. Na enkomo no a omudiye na ankasa no eko eba ebesi na nsenya asam a ebesi so wo na nakwa me bedi akon asam a okoka ekre osaberma ose ade yo agimambadu eye aduana piesie ene yewura otumfo otekokko so asam a okokaye se ebeya anka asumdue emra omuntem efriseso oman Ghana asumdue ba ena kromanfo no nso economy ankasa ebekoso asumdue eba ena development ankasa ebetumi akoso na se ekoba ne se ekoye empapa mu a emmoa ema yentumi emfa input ndwuma ankasa emma omainim ema meka chiro se na nakwa mbedi akon enim ye na nanom kasa bi aye kasa praye wowe wuyi ba ko a ebu na so ka bomu a ebeye den se ebetumi abu enti on take advantage se odibe wini vote nemom nkabom na woye den ohwehwe ye nuanum bebre enti ase odi anya no ho asam ene yebeka no ho asam akire nemom enkomo anana kwa mebedi akon ene Wademaya edi as at that time edi besi nne eno no ekro ne mapa ankasa a ewo nana kwa mebedi akon emu sabre no nka asa obedi president o na waka se ebi a ne kasa a all kan because ope president edi ana se ebi atumi bi a wope enti na all kasa sa na even se tumi kra na ope enti kra na wo kasa sa which means say ne kasa ankasa a oka no eho ete na eho enyam nti abrebia na nakwa mbedi akọ address issue kra na one address only on Ghana nemum or address it as black people na eduru memi kra na okọ to the stand say anka even any say ye racism being it colored Indian, black or whatever. Ye hina ye one people. A say anka enye asisie any person minkumnya a ebimu ede ahya o madwemu a. Anka wosi ye hina ye bibia pepepe. Nti abrebi a wodi nkomokra o kire say region bia a wo so. Resource a ewo so no. E wo say wutumi enjoy wo resource. And o enjoy wo resource now. Then yanya bi ede ato honom as a whole nation ede nti saa na nka wose wiase nyina so eba ne se okokwasi broni kromu a omo waniama ahodo a wo ba ye abibimamu a yeni ba because ye nyina ye nipa ba akono ye behia omo so ye waniama ahodo bebra omo so omo ni ye nyina ye nipa ba akono moja na di afusani awoye mu no omo so omo behia nti anka ne papa mu no enye se ebi aye pese minkuminya na abre ni abre bia no opese oye superior ewo obi so na otohye obi so eje ne owo nyina na onumum ehwe no ne ope a anka ne wo se eye ne se ye exchange uwo we mi hia bi me so me wo we wo so hia bi okay ene ne owo no ma me bi na wo so je we nanka eno na be ma wiase ayefe nanka ewiase nankasa be experience asumdue ankasa a ye nyina ye de yeah, no. But here is the case. Obia no fighting for peace. Now so Obia no are all fighting for justice. And no enemy we are say yen ya ho ano. Say peace. Ebeye juma just a justice. Edi mu ankasa eno na beboa ama peace. Aye juma. Utie na nakwa mbedi akọ enkoma wa ho. Opese o make positive impact ankasa ewo wiase mu anase opese oje edinpa ede eto honom sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a daakye yɛbɛbɔ ne din sɛnea yɛbɔ nkɔfoɔ bi dim te sɛ ɔsagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, obi te sɛ Gaddafi, obi te sɛ Mansa Musa ɛne afoforɔ a aka a yɛn abibifoɔ yɛ deɛ yɛayerɛ ɔmo na abere ne abere biara no yɛbɔ Kwasi Broni mom ɔmo legendfoɔ edin no. Abusua sɛ na bɛyɛ amencha me kasa yɛn konkotie na nakwa mbedi ako ɛne Wademaya interview a ɔmo yɛɛyɛ ɛne ne da a edikan a waba channel so a make sure so be subscribe to channel no wa share no wa like it. Invite afoforo no mmeka abusua ko no sɛ na bɛyɛ a yɛ di video foforo bia ɛde tumu a onso obenya bi no wahwe. Abusua ohwɛ video ni wi a enko ba bia afei yɛ bɛ summarize bibia kakra na yɛ de amount yɛn kokotie no emra.
First of all, I think Africa faces an identity crisis, and sometimes we do not seem to accept ourselves for who we are. And if we don't know who we are, then how are we going to find ourselves to see who we're becoming? You see, there are black people everywhere in the world. We're in America, we're in Jamaica, we're in Japan, we're in China, we're in America, and we're in England. But every black person that you find them tag themselves with another country. I'm Black British, I'm Black American, I'm Jamaican, I'm African American, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah. So how many type of black people do we have in this world? That's the question I have for them first. Africa is the future? No, the future is Africa.
Hey, so what does that mean?
It's just that Africa has been in the doomed for so long that when you put Africa in a sentence, the answer or the questions that comes out, it's negative, it's shambles, it's improhibitant, it's not accepted. So we have a hidden future that we're not supposed to tell the world that Africa is the future, but the world is supposed to find out that the future is Africa.
Are you planning to start a revolution?
Well, revolution, it's practically not started. Revolution is sensed as an opportunity of changes. So it's time that we change our perspective for living, our mindset for developing, and it's time that we retrieve the culture that we have lost to foreigners. We look at the Western to have a traditional culture. When we have a culture that we're supposed to build a system that envelope and control the economy, the systems, the development of our own nations, but yet we're always looking elsewhere, thinking that our culture is going to come from there, thinking that our help is going to come from there, thinking that our investment is going to come from somewhere else. Why do you sit on a gold mine and still look for gold?
Why do you sit
on a gold mine and still look for it? You're sitting on it. You don't have to be looking for people to come and show you that this is gold, this is oil, this is maize, this is that. Africa is blessed. It's blessed with different resources, different commodities, different stuff to be able to build our own sustainable economy and create a curriculum balance in our own economy, have a great state governance that will raise humanity with a different dimension. Africa is the UN. Africa is the only continent on this planet that you can have a white person as an African, a Chinese person as an African, an Indian person as an African, a black person as an African, Egyptian, Israeli, you name it. We are the real United Nations. But yet everybody is talking about unity. We can't unite ourselves with 10,000 different dialects. That's not going to work. The only way we're going to be able to unite ourselves is to be able to turn our own resources, our own minerals into production, into manufacturing, and industrialize our resources, our own commodities, and then start to build an economy that will make us become sustainable with the global economy.
What do you think is the problem of this continent?
Well, I mean, he's touched on all the bases. Problems, we came to meet. Problems, we're going to leave. Problems will still be there. But the greatest people in this world are some of the people that found the solution to the biggest problems in this world, because they moved 1 million foot forward. They changed people's life overnight. They changed communities, they changed cities, they changed countries, and then they hit a continent. You see, I respect the Western for one thing. For whatever resources that they came to extract from our continent, they did not put it in their pockets. They went to build their countries with it. And so they built the life of their great-great-grandchildren for the next 200 years. They have a system, they have a political system, a democratic system that is constituted within their countries, and that protects them. That gives them benefits, that gives them incentives. We, on the other hand, doesn't have the opportunity to go to another man's country to steal their gold, their oil, and come and build our continent. We already have the resources, but we haven't been able to acquire.
And that is what I want to know. Why is it that we've not been able?
But that's what I'm coming to. We haven't been able to acquire the world to work for us. We only bring the world to come and take from us. You see, there's a difference in wanting and needing. I don't know if Africa wants or needs, because if it's them wanting, they already have. They have enough resources to survive. But there is something they need to make the resources become refinable, to become, repackaged, to become manufactured again. That is the energy to be able to put plants, to be able to manufacture, create hubs, industrialization, petrochemical clusters, to recycle your own petrochemicals and create energy to sustain your industrial development. For me, I call this education. Some people might call it work. But you don't need to go to university to get degrees to survive. You need to really learn what is around your surrounding, how you can make the best out of it. That is education. Africans need to be educated by their own resources, by their own tradition, by their own culture, by their own state governance. It shouldn't be from the Western. It shouldn't be from Asia. It shouldn't be from anywhere else. If anybody visited Africa, it's because they are coming to congratulate us for how well we have built our nations and our continent, not because they found out that there's gold and oil here, so they're coming to take their share. This is the change that we are asking for the youth of today. This is the revolutionary movement we're talking about. We don't have a fight with anybody. We're not fighting with our fathers, with our leaders. We're just saying that, look, we want to change because we're thinking the likes of the Western for the future of our children's children and our race and our culture to be respected.
How are we gonna, bring that change that we're looking for? What are the steps that you guys want to take, or is that one to be behind the scene?
Well, we will probably not be standing here telling everybody the skills that one needs to use to be able to acquire and apply acquisition and ownership and this and that. But one thing that people should understand from the way we're speaking is that we're not labeled, we're entitled. We know what belongs to us, and we know how we can turn that into something else that people will benefit from. Plus, we're saying that we have a voice, and the voice is being spoken. We're not hiding, unlike the others who kept quiet. We have one thing that our fathers didn't have, and that's courage. We speak what is meant to be told, and these are facts that we're speaking about right now.
Investment in Africa. Do you think it's time for Africans to invest in Africa? Or do you think, you have been doing a lot of investment here in Ghana, I don't know about other African countries, but do you think that it's worth it for an African to invest in Africa?
You see, and this answer will not just be for Africa. Life is about investment and development. Okay? The people that understand life should always know what the money is worth, because that's what they're chasing. But it should be about investment and development. Now, when I talk about investment, it comes in different scales. There is investment that you put in the nation, in the people. There is investment that you put on the grounds. There's investment that you put in the water. Every one of this will bring you returns. One of them will give you cash. One of them will give you prominence. And one of them will give you state power. Okay? Now, the question is Africans practicing investment and development? No. Because that is
practicing?
Well, because you're asking the question that do you think Africans should invest in Africa? No, they're not practicing investment. The average African is going for education and expecting to get a job.
That's the education system that we have.
Well, to answer your question, don't you think practically and pragmatically Human beings are not supposed to be forced and pushed into a corner where they think that I'm going to pay your school fees, go to school, so when you finish your education, you can get a job. Where's the business mind? Without the business mind, where's the investment?
So that's what I'm saying. There's something wrong with our education system.
Absolutely, yes. Why do I believe so? Because people think that education is only when you walk into school and apply academic resources. Education comes from natural resources, the natural living as well. Every day we learn. And you see, people are going to win and they're going to gain. People who fail are also going to learn. So you still win in life. And people have not taken that very serious, that learning is a procedure that goes in different levels, in different stages of our lives. And that's when you're educating yourself. You acquire knowledge from that. At some point you're going to acquire wisdom from that. At some point you're going to educate yourself not by saying a word, by just listening. They should remember the same words that says silence is the same words that spells listen. So if someone is listening, I want them to be silent and get it right, that education brings wisdom, it brings knowledge, it brings understanding. The moment that you understand a product or a resource, the value of it, you taking someone like Rockefeller, when he understood the opportunity that he can get from just the oil that he was trying to drill, he became the richest man in the world. You take in Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa did not go to university and acquire degrees, but he realized that the value on the ground as gold, if he can mine as much and turn it to coins, he built universities out of it, Timbuktu. In fact, he's the richest man that ever lived, and he came from Africa. This is a great history for Africans to learn from, because this should be in our educational academic syllabus. Learning about our people and how they became successful. And that's why I started this whole discussion about we always looking up to the Western and not looking up to ourselves. What African buys made in Africa, apart from the food that they think is cheap or free? Anything else from Africa, we're knocking it. Anything that is from black on black, we're knocking it. And you know, people are blaming some Westerners and some white people for destroying Africa, when we just have to wake up and stand up to the people who are doing wrong to us, to the people who are not accepting our values, to the people who are not adding value to society and building our continent. This is what we're not being courageous about. For me, all this is part of education. And guess what? Education is the biggest investment, and it comes out of development. So that's the equation. Those who are listening, they should get the numbers. That's all we have. We're numbered for days. And whilst we're here, the time that you have invested in us today is the time that you have had us to open our mouths for the entire continent to hear that great minds coming together can give you a degree that you spent 8 years to acquire in university just in 30 minutes. I mean, this is like Jay-Z saying that I'm selling your whole life on $9.99. But I'm just saying, this very moment, we are sharing wisdom, knowledge, courage, you know, things that would make people understand that being black is not a curse, but it's power. First of all, I think Africa faces an identity crisis, and sometimes we do not seem to accept ourselves for who we are. And if we don't know who we are, then how are we going to find ourselves to see who we're becoming? You see, there are black people everywhere in the world. We're in America, we're in Jamaica, we're in Japan, we're in China, we're in America, and we're in England. But every black person that you find them tag themselves with another country. I'm black British, I'm black American, I'm Jamaican, I'm African American, I'm this, I'm that. So how many type of black people do we have in this world? That's the question I have for them first. That's the first question I want to ask Africans before I share my words with them. So for me, identity crisis is one thing. That how do we build a society together, a nation that would not be disregarded but would be accepted and respected within this whole global conglomeration? We need to take stance and a position to claim the value of our race back as black, because it doesn't matter whether you're from Nigeria, Ghana, or Gambia. If you put us in front of the Chinese man, he doesn't know the countries we're from. Exactly. If you put us in front of the American man, he doesn't know. He just knows that we're Africans and we're blacks. Therefore, we only represent one continent and one race. I just don't want you to be gassed. But if there is no one telling you the truth. I'm sharing this truth with you now. As much as your own hates you, all you have is him. Because no matter what you do, you're always going to be seen as a person in front of you. And if he doesn't respect you, or if you don't respect him, you both don't have respect for yourselves. And if you don't have value for each other, you both don't have value for the world. So Africa is on a rise because great minds have started to think like this and have accepted truly who we're becoming. And becoming who you are is the only time that you're recognized, spiritually, physically, and mentally. And I think that this is the best way for us to get a fundamental mindset development before we even start to develop our buildings and our roads and everything. Our minds, our spirit, the value of our race, our culture, and our heritage value should be restored first, and to be able to know where we belong to in society. I'm a true African, and I represent a black man. I will never turn my back on them. There's so many of them have disappointed me. So many of them have let me down. So many of them have turned their back on me. But I decided not to, because they're all I have. As much as they don't see me, I see them. And these words that I'm sharing with Africans is because I truly want them to know that the beginning of success comes from genuineness. That genuine thinking, that genuine way of giving the best to people. Because quality should be high intention and a skillful execution. See, if you have high intentions for people, you can skillfully execute everything around people. And that's when quality is restored. And quality is value. Value is currency. Currency is the money everybody's chasing. Before we all want to go around chasing money, first of all, we need to build the foundations first. The foundation that will restore a nation is more important than the mindset that will let us go into reclamation. We will be drawn back. We will be set back. The reason why I love what you said so much is that the time is now.
Exactly.
There is no other time. There is no other day. It is now. The future started yesterday. We are already late. So we should see that as the past has become so painful, historic moments, that pain should become the strength that draws us from our weakness and make today, the present, become a gift, so we can see into the future that what our fathers didn't do, we have to finish it. The dreams that they couldn't actually accomplish, we have to finish those dreams. The mistakes that they did, we have to learn from that. We've had some greatest leaders in Africa. We've had the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, the likes of Gaddafi, the likes of Mansa Musa and Nelson Mandela, and people that even the whole world is looking up to, but yet we're refusing to adopt these spirits in our forefathers. And we are only trying to find faults amongst ourselves because we have labeled ourselves different. And I would like to end this by saying black British, black American, black Chinese, black whatever, and we don't know who truly we are as black. We're one. And we're the strongest color on this earth. And I say this with courage. Anyone that's listening to me, see, a black man can become Michael Jackson, from Michael Jackson to a white man, but becoming a black man again is impossible. And we are the only color that defines the color in the world. Anybody else have a different skin color, it's a black person. The Indian is close to a Chinese man, the Chinese man is close to the white man is close to whatever. We are the only color that differentiate humanity as in different species. And that alone is a warning from God, telling us that we are something special.
Are we God's chosen one?
Of course. You know why?
No.
You know why we're God's chosen one? Black people are the most disappointing, most perpetrators, most betrayal humanity on this planet. But guess what? We are also the most people that make God feel his existence on this earth, because we worship him in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday. I mean, churches, pastors are becoming the richest. But you know why? It's because we have a belief in an omnipotency in creation, but we're also sinners. See, the real fine-tuned definition of an Adamite is what an African is. Thou shalt not, and I will. And I'll go through the pain, and I will go, and I'll suffer, and I'll still live, and I'll do it again. But you know, that's all about life. And what I'm saying right now, it's the greatest moment is today. Standing here and us sharing these words with the youth of Africa and letting them understand that this is a new beginning, this is a new Africa.
Before I end this video, if both of you had one chance to change something in Africa, what will it be? Education system. And what about you?
One chance, I'll go with him that, but I would define it in a way that I would like to change the mindset of Africans, which still boils down to education. Okay, the mindset, and I said it already, it's everything. The way you were raised, it's what you become. The habits you inherit in the beginning will make you in the end. So if your educational aesthetics is not good from the beginning, it doesn't matter how much luck you're looking for in this world. Success would always stay far away from you. So we really need to change the mindsets of our people, and that's why we're standing today as the youngest leaders of today, building the New Africa Foundation, the freedom movement, because we're speaking into the youth's mind, the people who are coming up, the likes of the 10-year-olds, the 5-year-olds, the 15-year-olds, who have a few more decades to explore life. I believe my future is in the hands of those people. I don't believe my future is in the hands of an 85-year-old man who has lived future already, cannot build a future for me. He's wise enough to educate me, to take me through his experience and share wisdom with me. But to say that he's going to build my infrastructure, he's going to build this, he's going to build my educational system, this guy is really tired. And I know by the time I'm 85 too, I'll be tired. I probably will not be speaking like this, but I'll have more experience. So it's really time for us to invest in the youth, and the youth needs...
Abushia, enti nsem na nakwa mbidi ako ekai. O maye moye nsem kakra emfama no. Yemfa ba ko fanka ho. Se eba ne se ye ka se obi adwemu abia wo ho. Na nakwa mbidi akwa adwe no, abia majame ye kra pai. And beginning na me ne wo kasa me se na nakwa mbidi akwa ehia mmabunu a omma mmabunu ankasa hu se nepa ewo mu inti no was a wode ba out debia oka okasa the youth we need to invest in the youth inti sene yanom ekohia youth na ato omo ne asa ena omo ne omudi ene ensem a ehu hia no na nakwa mbedi akunya a little opportunity na ohia youth no in a group or try say obe educate omo. And I think say this is one of the best quality a war visionary leader bia emo. Enunti na Abra Ibrahim Traore ene Burkina for school bi ekohia ye no na all catch a teacher for say the future na nkasa no ehye a teacher for we mo answer because mo na most of the education to the youth and I say enkwala na eba no a free the teenage na edeba the youthful age no ni nyina a teachers for attention for more and mo message no enti Ibrahim Traore amamu akasa obu no eba ne say education a ye de ma enkwala kra na ondi hu agro. You see we any one thing na e was say ye hu enti even ye pay for kra ebu baby say enkwala no etumi ennante ntentem na mpemfo na eden enim kwan no enti mpemfo beka se o kwaku ye ntemo fa benkum na kwaku atumrika no afa benkum ekwe udru benkum so a uko 2 meters a safan nifa udru nifa so na uko bia be 5 meters a afi ko anim ten na kwaku dim hwi na woko na ekoba se akokora ya ono amu owie na se onokro ya na esa so ekokwan na wo hwa ebeboaye anan na nakwa mbedi akoma message ode ema ye enyina no inti Wademaya bisa se Africa ankasa no se anka wenye opportunity se onse sade ba ko anka nyon no bedi kan asesa eno no kan se education and yen aya na ye define ye education ye gwen se eno an se wakotena classroom na ya kyerɛw empradodo ankamufo bɔ mpaye nipa wo Yesu Kristo ene nwanwan ye fees eno ani education eno ani say yakwa ani akobo degree ni abo PhD ni abo hwanwan eno ani education there bi o ye ka education ankasa eno ne say ye behu enyama ankasa a atwa ye ho ahia ekwan a ye befa so na ankasa na ye ne nipa ntem akoso ekwan a ye befa so ede ye resource na ankasa na obaade no ede amaye no ede adandan ye ho na ma ye nipa na ankasa na ye ho atoye na asundwe aba eno ene ade a eye the best education inti ohwe enkomo ahodo a na nakwa mbedi ako edi no honom na o kire se ebibiman ye baako yenka ye humom yankasa na ye confused ye hu ya ho enu nti ena obi kodi America o se me de me ye black America obi se me ye black China obi se me ye black Indian obi se me ye black way me ye black British me ye black one oba ye bibifuo kra ye mu kra na me ye black African ye nim ye ho ye hu ye ho meanwhile so uyi kwasi broni edisi wono ma uyi omumu miensa obetumi differentiate omo nanso fa abibifo miensa kogina kwasi broni anim na hwe ontumi differentiate omo which means that there are some qualities who be ewe mu a e wo se anka yehu but yentumi hu sa ade because of we enunti na obi bibini etumi yusu ni nua bibini paper e de ye adwuma because kwasi broni onya hwe picture na ohu tuntum a oso ampa ono a picture bi obehwe bia enne so kwa ye nua ma ni ye nua no mmemme ye da ne ye ho ablofo bibini empe ni bebia nti na nakwa mbedi akonsema akasa wo kan no yankasa no ya yira ye identity nti ni aka ne se wo se ye educate ye ho na ye sesa ye mindset the mindset na ankasa no na wo se ye sesa no because enya mindset kra na anka this year election ni enye ene se ye abre ya o de kohwe ya anom ye de snap ene ade e de hyenkofo sam ni ye de 5 million 2 million e de ahye omon sam ye wia ya ka che se bo hu dua se sika ya meji meko akoto abai e de ama asumasi wa wo hwa wi se anka adwen no encorrupt ya ye nim ye ho a anka ye beden ni aye wi na nka ye nananom time ye babodua jese ye be bribe ye ansa ne abodua wo bibi ho anan nokre no wo ho a nokre no wo ho entro no wo ho a eye ntro enti sa wo se da esa abre no ene ye bodua na enye wi ene sa esehunu wi a ekoso no enti abushia mesra mo momo ye mo ye ho mode na ye nti ye nua be men ase na ye hu se ye nua no nepa ewo ne mu onye tribalism openka bom opasumdwie opempeja openkoso wakote na obi man so wo hu kwae fa so kekere ye kuro wonim ankasa se enkofo kuro a omo kekere ye esan education any investment a omo je ewo emmabunu mu enno na ebie kwan a ama omo aduru pempenso a omo aduru ba wo ba yen ye hade a da bi o enye sa na ekono nemum the other way round akokra no a oje na awu no ono na waje akenten so bibia ni ho a ye ma mmabunu no a ewo ahwode no opportunity na nakwa me message a wode ema ye no enu ni na sa wotena ase na wodwen se nipa na ekọ akire so a ampa ubehu se enokre sa na etie enu nti na eduru me bia ye ka se ensanu dwuma ani ade akokra entumi enkoye ensanu dwuma na babunu eye ensanu dwuma a ebeboa ama system na nkasa agina then ebe transfer from generation to generation to generation me do we see here no next video.